On a quiet night within the ancient Tower of Prophecy, the Grand Seer of the continent attempted to peer into the flow of fate. Before him, hundreds of runes and astral formations spun through the air, reflecting countless fragments of the future. His target this time was merely a little-known teenager, Ven Tien. At first, everything seemed normal. The image of a young boy appeared within a sea of spiritual energy, his eyes calm yet hiding an unfathomable power. But when the seer tried to look deeper into the boy's destiny, the entire astral formation suddenly began to tremble violently. Then a horrifying vision appeared. Within the shattered stream of time, he saw a colossal monster staining the sky, crimson blood and lightning raging across the heavens. Far behind it stood a dark palace where powerful figures were secretly manipulating the fate of the entire continent. And at the center of all those coming catastrophes stood Ven Tien. The moment the seer tried to glimpse the final outcome, an invisible force suddenly struck back. The astral formation exploded. Runes shattered. The great seer coughed up blood, his eyes filled with terror. Before the light of prophecy faded completely, he managed to utter only one sentence. "That boy will change the entire world." After the incident at the Tower of Prophecy, rumors about the boy who could change the fate of the continent began to quietly spread among the powerful elites. However, in a darker and more distant place there were already those who had known the name Ven Tien for a long time. In the desolate northern mountains, the Death Palace lay hidden within thick black mist. It was a place that almost didn't exist on the continent's maps, yet it served as the center of countless conspiracies and power struggles. The one currently controlling it was Han Duc, an ambitious man who had recently eliminated the old factions to seize the position of ruler. Han Duc believed he had become the true master of the Death Palace. With his power and the new alliances he had formed, he was preparing to move into the next phase of his plan, expanding his influence across the entire continent. But just as he began to believe everything was finally under his control, an unexpected event occurred. Inside the vast empty hall, a man dressed in white appeared like a ghost. No one knew where he came from, and no one had sensed his presence before that moment. The man introduced himself as Bach-an, the White Shadow. With only a few words, Bach-an left Han Duc completely stunned. Because he revealed a terrifying truth. Han Duc had never been the true master of the Death Palace, and the one behind everything had begun to take notice of a single name. Ven Tien. After revealing the truth about the Death Palace, Bach-an slowly walked down the black stone steps of the Grand Hall. The air around them seemed to freeze. Han Duc's gaze grew sharp, yet a sense of unease had already begun to creep into his heart. Bach-an showed no sign of haste. He raised his hand and tossed two objects onto the floor before Han Duc, an ancient sword radiating a chilling aura, and a jade slip engraved with dense ancient runes. With just a glance, Han Duc could tell they were rare treasures of the continent. Only then did Bach-an reveal the true purpose of his visit. If Han Duc wished to prove that he deserved a place among the ranks of the Shuaming Divine Hall, he would have to complete a mission. A mission that sounded simple, yet was extremely dangerous. He had to track down and kill someone. The name that followed plunged the entire hall into silence. Ven Tien. Bach-an explained that this young man possessed a secret capable of shifting the balance of the entire continent. The true master behind the Death Palace wanted to know exactly who Ven Tien was, and just how powerful he had become. If Han Duc completed the mission, he would officially become the representative of the Death Palace across the continent. Otherwise, he would remain nothing more than a disposable pawn, one that could be replaced at any time. Hearing this, Han Duc tightened his grip around the ancient sword. The hunt had begun. While Han Duc secretly began mobilizing his forces to track down Ven Tien's whereabouts, the very target of the hunt was in another corner of the world, venturing deeper into an ancient land that few dared to enter. It was the Blood Abyss Ruins, an abandoned battlefield from thousands of years ago. The air there was always thick with the scent of blood and chaotic spiritual energy, as if the remnants of a world-shaking war still lingered. Ven Tien had not come here to hide. He was searching for a great opportunity buried deep within the ruins. But when he reached the center of the ancient remains, he discovered a shocking secret. Beneath layers of ancient stone and ceiling formations lay a slumbering primordial creature, the Blood Demon Beast. Even its breathing alone was enough to distort the surrounding spiritual energy. At the same time, within the body of Ven Tien's companion, existed a sinister parasitic soul that had been hidden for a long time. After being suppressed by Ven Tien using a secret soul technique, the evil spirit was finally forced to reveal itself. Yet instead of continuing to resist, it made an unexpected proposal. If Ven Tien helped it escape from its current host, it would help him control the Blood Demon Beast. It was an extremely dangerous plan. One small mistake could break the ancient seal and unleash the monstrous creature, destroying everything. After a few seconds of calculation, Ven Tien finally made his decision. He agreed to cooperate. The plan was quickly set into motion. Standing at the center of the Blood Abyss ruins, Ven Tien focused all of his concentration, his gaze locked onto the massive body sleeping beneath the ancient seal. One small mistake could turn everything into hell. According to the agreement, the sinister soul would be the first to infiltrate. As Von Thien gently raised his hand, a thin stream of spiritual light drifted out from his companion's body. It transformed into a crimson shadow and shot straight toward the body of the blood demon beast. In that instant, the surrounding space began to tremble violently. Von Thien immediately sensed a brutal aura surging from the ancient seal. The primordial monster seemed to have detected the intruder. Cracks began spreading across the stone seal, while chaotic spiritual energy roared like a storm. Inside the soul of the blood demon beast, the situation was even more terrifying. The moment the evil spirit entered, it discovered that the creature's soul was like an endless ocean of blood, surging with a force powerful enough to crush any intruder. A silent roar echoed across the spiritual realm. The evil spirit was chased by that overwhelming power, nearly being devoured. Outside, the body of the blood demon beast began to convulse violently. Dark crimson energy erupted in every direction, causing the entire ruin to shake. Watching the scene unfold, Von Thien clenched his fists tightly. He realized something terrifying. Only moments after the sinister soul infiltrated the creature, the situation had already gone far beyond Von Thien's expectations. The cracks on the ancient seal began spreading like a spiderweb. From beneath the layers of ancient stone, the blood demon beast released heavy tremors, like a colossal mountain, slowly awakening after a 1,000-year slumber. A deep, low roar echoed from the depths of the earth. In the next instant, the spiritual energy throughout the entire Blood Abyss ruins descended into chaos. Dark, crimson energy shot straight into the sky, twisting into violent cyclones. The surrounding space began to warp, as if being torn apart by the monster's overwhelming power. Von Thien tried to channel his own spiritual energy to stabilize the formation, but the pressure from the blood demon beast was far too terrifying. Inside the creature's soul, the evil spirit was already close to exhaustion. The endless ocean of blood was swallowing it bit by bit. A faint voice echoed within Von Thien's consciousness. "I can't hold on much longer." At that exact moment, the enormous eyes of the blood demon beast suddenly opened. A dark crimson glow ignited within its pupils, carrying an ancient killing intent that shook the entire ruin. The final seal shattered. Standing in the heart of the raging storm of energy, Von Thien clearly sensed a horrifying truth. If this monster fully awakens, not only will their plan fail. The moment the blood demon beast opened its eyes, an ancient killing intent erupted like a tidal wave. The ground split apart, and the massive stone pillars within the Blood Abyss ruins collapsed one after another. The overwhelming pressure nearly forced Von Thien to his knees. In that brief moment, the consciousness of the sinister soul echoed again inside his mind, weak and broken. "I found the core of its soul. But I can only hold it for a moment. One moment. Only a single chance." Von Thien's eyes instantly turned cold. He knew that if he missed this opportunity, the blood demon beast would completely break free from control. Without hesitation, he raised his hand. 3 ancient runes immediately appeared in the air, radiating a blinding golden light. They were a secret soul-attacking technique that Von Thien had always kept hidden. In the next instant, the 3 runes transformed into streaks of light and struck directly at the forehead of the blood demon beast. A heaven-shaking roar exploded through the ruins. The monster's colossal soul trembled violently. The endless ocean of blood within its consciousness suddenly froze for a split second. That fleeting moment became the turning point. The sinister soul gathered the last of its strength and charged straight toward the very core of the blood demon beast's consciousness. Outside, Von Thien immediately summoned the mountain and river cauldron, an ancient treasure with powerful sealing abilities. 9-colored light erupted from the artifact, enveloping the enormous body of the monster. The battle had finally reached its decisive moment. The 9-colored light from the mountain and river cauldron erupted violently, engulfing the enormous body of the blood demon beast. Under the crushing pressure of the ancient treasure and the earlier soul attack, the monster let out thunderous roars that shook the entire Blood Abyss ruins. The ground trembled as fragments of stone rained down from above. Inside its soul, the sinister spirit had already reached the very core of the creature's consciousness. The moment Von Thien unleashed his decisive strike was the only opportunity. Now, the shout echoed within the spiritual realm. Von Thien immediately channeled all of his spiritual power, controlling the mountain and river cauldron to release its ultimate sealing force. Rings of radiant light tightened around the blood demon beast, gradually suppressing the chaotic energy raging within it. After one final earth-shaking roar, the colossal monster was completely subdued. Slowly, the Blood Abyss ruins fell silent once more. Standing among the shattered remnants, Von Thien breathed heavily, yet his eyes shone with a new brilliance. Because after this battle, he had not only survived, he now possessed an ancient power capable of shaking the entire continent. But far away in another corner of the world, Handuk had already begun his hunt. An inevitable confrontation was slowly drawing closer. What do you think will happen when Handuk and Von Thien finally meet? Comment 1 if you want to see the next part of the story.